Within this lesson, we'll use the area model and multiplication to show the equivalence of two fractions. Please go ahead and work right along with me. Get a piece of paper if you need one. Let's start by drawing an area model to represent 2/3. Represents 1, divided into, right, 3 parts, and then we'll shade 2 of those parts so that we have 2/3. Next, we're asked to draw 3 horizontal lines across the area model. Do so. What happened to the number of units? Well, there were 1, 2, and 3, and now there's 3, 6, 9, 12. There's now 4 times as many units as before. The number that are selected, before we had 1 and 2 selected, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's label this as 8/12, and we'll write out our multiplication sentence as well. We had 2/3, and as we stated, we had 4 times as many, not only in the numerator, but also in the denominator. And that's why we have 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 4 is 12. Read with me. 2/3 does equal 8/12. And make sure you have this written on your paper as well. Here's another problem. Go ahead and copy off the area model. Pause the video while you do your work. Now we're asked to draw a horizontal line to partition the model into 2 parts. And then so we'll do so. And let's write this out. When we started, we had 1, 2, 3 parts in the numerator, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4 in the denominator. By drawing a horizontal line to partition it into 2 parts, we not only doubled the numerator, we went from 3 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we also doubled the denominator as well. We went from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 2, 4, 6, 8. And so we have that equivalence there, that 3/4 does equal 6/8. There's 3/4, and then we'll go ahead and write it in there as 6/8. This is different than our previous lesson. In our previous lesson, we are working with fraction equivalence when they were all unit fractions. So in this case, our numerator is no longer just ones. We have a different number in the numerator besides 1. We're looking at more of those parts. Here we're asked to express these fractions in a number sentence using multiplication. Are you able to work this out? What did we start with here? It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had that fraction 3/5. It looks like we drew two lines here, so we tripled the amount, not only in the numerator, but also in the denominator. So we'll write out our multiplication sentence as well. 3 times 3 is 9, and 5 times 3 is 15. Let's write that out there in our area model, and let's look at our area model, see if it's accurate. Well, there's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. And then we had 15ths. There's 5, 10, 15. Yep, 15ths. So that 3/5 does equal 9/15. On the next screen, we'll let you try one. Okay, express the equivalent fractions in a number sentence using multiplication. Pause the video while you do your work. What fraction did you start with? Did you say 3/4? And what did you multiply by? Well, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3 horizontal lines, meaning that we had 4 times as many, not only for our numerator, but also for our denominator. So we had fourths, and now we have 16ths. And the amount that are shaded in now, there are 12 of them that are shaded in, so that 3/4 equals 12/16. Check over your work. Okay, here's one last problem to take a look at. Which of these are true? Correct those that are false by changing the right-hand side of the number sentences. Well, so it looks like we're going 2/3 here. And I'm thinking 2/3, does it equal 4/9? Well, we have 2/3, and just as before, we were multiplying in the numerator and denominator. So to get from 2 to 4, we'd have to multiply by 2. And we'd have to do the same thing in the denominator, though. So it'd be 3 times 2, so we have 4, 6. So it's not 2/3 equaling 4/9. This one's false. And so, since it's false, we'd have to correct it to say that 2/3 does equal 4/6. Does 3/5 equal 6/10? Well, let's see. 3 times 2, 5 times 2. Yeah, 6/10, so this is correct. 4/7, does it equal 6/14? Well, let's see. 4 times 2, and that'd be 7 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 7 times 2 is 14. So that 4/7 actually equals 8/14, not 6/14. So this one here is false. And show you two more problems that are similar to the other ones. Does 3/4 equal 10/12? Well, let's see. We're going from fourths to 12ths, so that'd be triple the amount. That's 4 times 3, and then we would still have to have 3, which was our numerator, times 3 as well. 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 3 is 12. So it's actually 3/4 equals 9/12, not 10/12. So this one here would be false. 5/9, does it equal 9/45? Well, let's see. To get from 5 to 25, I would multiply by 5, and 9 times 5 also gives. Showing this another way, we had 5 times 5, and we had 9 times 5, which equals 25/45. So this is true. I just wanted to show you that we could be multiplying by other things besides 2 within that previous screen. So we're looking at different types of ways to look at fraction equivalence.